Hey, welcome to Popcorn Perspective. It's AK joined with Jay. We're talking about Invincible Season 2 finale. We're going to do a spoiler and a non spoiler. The first half is going to be a non spoiler review. Jay, what did you think about the season?
Hey, so season two was really good. I hated the break that we had in between January and December.
Yeah,
So that part kind of irked me, but I think season two, part two was definitely a very strong uh, lineup of episodes.
mhm.
I enjoyed pretty much all of them. So
Well,
yeah,
before we go
I'm
into
happy
the.
with season two.
No, definitely. Well, before we go to the episode itself, you mentioned something about that break. Did you feel like that break kind of took away the momentum that season 2 had? I feel like after the break, after that, the mid-season finale happened. Now many people have been talking about Invincible. I feel like it's kind of died down in the, I guess, the hype meter of like the internet.
I absolutely agree. Um, I did not hear much of it on Twitter
No.
or X or whatever it is. So, talking about that break, it did kind of put everything on a damper, right?
Hmm.
Season two, episode four ended with such a big cliffhanger and it was so intense. It should have continued on because everyone was talking about it online on
Exactly.
how good season two, episode four was. But then when season two, episode five, six, and seven came out, I did not hear a lot of hype over it, even though the episodes were good. So yeah, that was a big mistake, a big miscalculation on Amazon's part.
Honestly, I didn't even know the season started back up until you texted me earlier this month. You're like, oh, last month. I think it's like mid March. You're like, hey, did you know the newest episode dropped? I was like, I heard no update from Amazon. There's no trailer, teaser. There's no like big marketing push. So I feel like it was a blunder on Amazon side, and I hope they do not repeat that on season 3. I hope they just do a full season, no breaks, because I think this show works well in a binge format.
I definitely agree, and the fact that they already do it weekly kind of
Yeah,
hampers the show, as you mentioned. So if they add a break on top of that, I just don't think it's going to be a successful run for the
long
show.
term. Yeah, but like you said earlier, though, I agree 100%. This season was from start to finish a banger. There's only like I think one episode that I think you and I both agreed upon that we didn't like. Do you want to go into that episode?
So before we get to all the episode breakdowns,
Okay.
what would you say compared to season one? Is this definitely on par for season one, or is it something a little less? How are you feeling?
Personally speaking, I think season 1 was slightly better.
I
The
100% agree.
reason, yeah, the reason why I think season 1 was better, personally, I think it had a more concise or a more coherent story arc from start, like from episode 1 to episode 8. Versus this episode, I feel like there's a lot of story arcs that are like floating around, trying to be picked. That's going to be probably picked up in season 3, but I feel like a lot of things just didn't have a good payoff just yet. Though it was very interesting on what they were doing with those storylines and the character development. So I feel like season 1 was more concise. Obviously, it's the beginning of the season. It's the first season of a show, so they want to slow things down and break things down for you. But season 2 a lot more fast paced. A lot more things happen. So I feel like season 1 as a overall storyline, I liked it better.
I agree. Season one acted more of a series,
Hmm.
and season two is very episodic. Everything kind of concluded within its own little episode, or maybe the second episode they finish it off.
Yeah,
And there wasn't something that I felt the entire show was moving towards. I anticipate season three to act more like what people are talking about in the comics. So I'm hoping season three is a lot more. Okay, we're gonna get to that Viltrumite fight. We're like, there's gonna be
exactly.
more of a big bad. In season one, I mean, Omni Man was a big bad, and we were all anticipating, okay, what's gonna happen when they find out his truth. So there was a lot of anticipation, and it felt like one pure structure from beginning to end.
Yeah, because you had the suspense build up for like the end of episode 1 of season 1, where Omni Man kills the whole Guardians of the Globe, and then it. builds each episode. You have that like that suspense and that intrigue between Invincible and his dad, and it all culminates into like an epic finale of the season finale. This season, I honestly didn't really know who the big bad was until obviously the last episode and a
Yeah,
half.
agreed.
But overall, though, like that said, I still think the villain of the season, Angstrom, even though I feel like he should have had more episodes, he was definitely a very great villain at the last episode. I think my only complaint is I kind of wish he had more scenes in the overall show.
Dude, seriously, Sterling K. Brown is such a powerful
Such a good
actor,
actor.
and his voice just is so captivating. Every scene with him, I loved it, and I wanted to see more. Exactly
Exactly.
what you said. And they should, to make him a big bad, they should have given him more space to grow, to
Hmm.
develop his character. I will say though, the last episode, my God, was he menacing?
Yeah, fantastic.
So,
But
so yeah,
imagine if they had showed all of his other variants being killed or hunted by Invincible throughout the season to
yeah.
build off on why he wants to kill Mark Invincible. I think that would have been a better story arc. But overall, God, he was amazing.
Awesome, awesome, cool. So I don't think we've spoiled anything at the moment because a lot of what we've spoken about was in the trailers, and it was pretty obvious that Angstrom Levi was the big bad of the show.
Yeah.
So why don't we go ahead and just give our ratings real quick and then get into spoilers?
Okay. Yeah. No. Definitely. So I think overall, I think this might be like an 8.5, 9 out of 10. I would probably say it's easily a theater pop. We have a popcorn meter here with the popcorn perspective. Stale being like the worst, homemade being like a average, mid tier, or acceptable. TV show or movie. And theater pop is the best. The best. It's salty. It's savory. It makes you wanting more. So I would definitely say this is a theater pop. I definitely want more, and I definitely am excited for season three.
Awesome, dude. So I agree. And the way you describe the popcorn, I kind of want popcorn right now, which sucks. But, anyways, um, this would have been a theater pop for me, but I'm actually going to say home cooked. And the only reason I say that was the break. And I want Amazon to not make that mistake again. Don't
Fair
put a
enough.
break. Yeah.
No. No.
It
I
lost
agree.
a lot of its momentum, and I had a hard time getting back into episode 5 and 6, even though they were good quality. It was probably one of the better episodes.
It just
I just there was a disconnect. So
And
yeah,
when you only have
that's
8 episodes a season, it's there's not much you can do a break on. Like you can't have a show on for 1 month and then have it off air for 2 months, only for it to come back on for another
you know
four
what
weeks.
this
It's just
break reminded me of? It reminded
what's
me of
that?
The Walking Dead, where you know how they like build it up the last 2 episodes, they put a break and then they start it up again.
Oh God, yeah, they had like
God,
the mid. Yeah, they
yeah,
had like all of
and
winter was just like no Walking Dead, and then like mid spring.
as
Oh, the
as
new
good
season.
as
Yeah,
Walking Dead was for a few seasons, I just totally lost interest. I'm like, I can't do this.
and
So I really
you
hope
saying
Invincibles
that
don't do
kind
that.
of worries me because you do know who the showrunner is of this
Yep,
show.
yep, it's
I
Robert
didn't put two
Kirkman.
together, yeah, because Robert Kirkman did both Walking Dead and this. So I'm hoping this is not him wanting to do the breaks, and I'm hoping it's
So
Amazon
there was
doing
an
it.
episode that they kind of addressed it. So I'm hoping it doesn't.
But okay, so they addressed it in that episode, and we'll explain that little further on of what we're talking about. But apparently, all the reports and all the notice in Hollywood, apparently every episode was already completed when season two dropped. So if every episode was already animated, completed, and voiced over, there's no need for a break. So that's where I'll end it at there. I'll end
Yeah,
my
it's true.
I'll end it
Yeah.
there. But um, definitely, if you said spoiler like spoiler review here on out. So if you have not seen anything of the season, have not seen the finale, I would probably tune away, come back later. But
Go watch it. Yeah, go
yeah,
watch it and
definitely
then
this
tune
is a
back in.
watch.
Yeah.
But the one thing we're going to start the spoiler off is Spider Man, Batman. What the fuck? What was your take on that?
Okay, so yeah, a little bit of context here. The last season, sorry, the last episode
Last
of the
episode.
season, we obviously find out Angstrom Levi has the ability to create portals into different dimensions. And in one of these dimensions, we see Spider Man fighting their version of Doc Ock, which was hilarious.
Professor Ock, which was
And then we also see Batman in a different dimension, and they don't show Batman. They're like it's Mark talking to Batman, questioning how he came up with the name Batman, which was pretty funny.
yeah. He's like, you're dressed up like a bat and you're a man. Isn't that kind of
Isn't
isn't
that
that
kind
kind
of
of
on
on
the
the
nose?
nose? Which was amazing. One thing I want to mention about the voice actor who played Spider Man. I'm not sure. Did you ever watch like the old animated Spider Man cartoons that came out like early 2000s? I think it's called the Amazing Spider Man. I think or Spectacular Spider Man TV show.
I did not know.
Okay. Josh Keaton is the guy who voices that Spider Man character in the animated
Awesome.
show. He was actually brought back in this episode to play their version of Spider Man. So I thought
That's
that was a
so
great
cool.
callback, and
Yeah, that
I
is
like the
really
fact that they
cool.
were bringing him back. That was cool. Um, yeah, definitely. I was texting you all last night while watching that. I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" That definitely that Spider Man and Batman itself kind of won me over with the episode. Like the episode could have been complete
Yeah.
shit, and I would have still said it was a great episode just because of the two cameos.
So
But
before we get on to the last episode, should we just start with the first batch of
yeah, we could do like
episodes
a
that we have?
condensed, yeah, like story
Okay,
arc
cool.
of each character and how we got to the last episode.
Yeah, so with the first two episodes, it was more just Mark and his mom and everyone around them getting to grips with what Omni Man did. How did you feel with those episodes?
I liked it. I loved the PTSD angle they're going with both Mark and Debbie. Mark is afraid that he will end up turning out to be like Omni Man. Well, Debbie was just, Debbie's just
Just
broken
broken.
inside.
Yeah.
She just completely shutting herself down from the public, which was really sad to see because Debbie was definitely one of my favorite parts of season one. I felt like she had a lot of heart, a lot of character in season one, which she does in this season. But obviously, this is her down season. What do you think about the two characters that I mentioned and how they
Yeah,
progressed?
so there was a running theme of PTSD in this entire season with
Mhm.
some other characters as well, like Donald, who later on figures out that he's basically a reconstructed version of himself since Omni Man killed him in the end of season one.
Mhm. And same as Mark's
So
friend William and William's boyfriend, they both also had that PTSD angle going
right,
for them.
right, exactly. So definitely a very strong running of that theme throughout the season. I loved Sandra O's characterization and the way she felt and the emotion that she brought in those first two episodes. You fell for her, and she's such a good actress. You
For a
really
show
felt.
all about heroes and powers and villains, as a character as grounded as Debbie, she's one of the few mortal characters, one of the few characters with no powers. She is such a great part of the show. In my opinion, she's kind of a backbone of the show. Without her, I feel
Right.
like the show itself wouldn't be as good as it
I'm gonna
is.
go a step further. I think she's the heart of the show.
I can do that.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that.
yeah.
Yeah, but
The emotion that she delivers and the heart that it goes into it
yeah.
when we watch her. Ah, yeah, she's an awesome
So
character.
we start her off where she's broken, and she's just trying to find a way to crawl out of this like hole that she's in. She's afraid to go out in public because she knows her husband is the guy who basically killed thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah,
Um, and she slowly starts coming back into public with the help of Mark and the help of what's his name the Nick Fury of the show, what's his
oh,
name,
Cecil. Yeah,
Cecil, yes, with the help of Cecil and Mark, and also she goes to like some kind of like social event where a bunch of heroes who've lost their partner are there, and that I feel like is kind of like the turn on her character is she kind of realizes that she has no connection with nobody. Nobody has gone
Yeah.
through what she has, and she goes to this place where a bunch of these wives and husbands of heroes are like crying, like, "Oh, my wife died, my husband died, saving this person, saving that person," and she has to come to grips that no, she didn't lose anyone. Her husband left because she killed thousands of people, and it was very just dramatic and sad to see how even they didn't want her there
Yeah.
once they found out. Yeah, so I definitely feel like her character just easily the most depressing part of the show, but it was done so damn well that
Right.
yeah,
Unfortunately, those two episodes, one of them is the worst episode of the season, which is
yes, yeah,
the
episode two.
where yeah, see, that's yeah, episode two, where Mark has to basically they're these aquatic people, fish creatures that I guess feel owed for something, and Mark has to become the husband or wife or
Was a
whatever.
callback to season one, which I'm not going to act like I remember because there's a lot that in season one that happened. But from my recollection, uh, with these aquatic, marine
Oh
animal
yeah,
creatures,
I
yeah,
remember now.
yeah, there was like a something happened. I think the king died or something, right?
Right. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Omni Man
these fish
kills
people,
him. Yeah.
yeah, that's what it was, Omni Man. So the fish people are like, well, your dad killed him, so now you're gonna have to marry the queen so you can like rule. And I was like, it felt like a diversion for no need.
Yeah, it was just
Just
a bad episode.
yeah,
Yeah, it went
great
nowhere.
great moments in the episode, but like the overall story
Mm,
arc of what was
right.
going on was just a lull. I was like, can we move on to the whole Omni Man, the whole
Right.
Voldemite?
So
Yeah.
now, talking about Omni Man, season three and four. So at this point, Mark is already
No,
into
you said season
college.
three, episode three and four.
Sorry,
Yes,
episode three and four. Mark is into college with his girlfriend. What's her name?
your favorite.
Yes, I love her. What's her name?
Zazie Beats
Uh,
character. Isn't
yeah,
that Amber, right?
Amber. Right. Good grief, do I not like Amber? Anyways, Zazie Beetz,
We'll
amazing
get to that
actress.
because I like her a
Yes.
lot. I like Amber.
Yeah.
He hates Amber, so we'll get into that discussion just a little bit here.
I
But
am
continue.
definitely Team Adam Eve. Like, do not like Amber one bit. I don't know why. I love Zazie Beetz as an actress though. Anyways, so season three, season four, Mark and them they're in college, and we get a alien of sort who comes to get Mark's help to go help them and the planet Therexa. So, yeah, take us through that.
Yeah. So I mean, Mark is basically pulled out of college by these weird alien creatures that said that we need your help to save our planet from a meteorite that's going to decimate the whole entire planet. He goes there only to find that Omni Man is now their leader and has a kid and is married to one of the alien species. So Mark now has a half brother that he has to deal with. What was your take on that twist that Omni Man kind of relocated, married, and
Yeah.
is now
All
leader of a
right.
new planet?
So I know I was glowing and I was loving Sandra Oh's character and all the pain she was going through. I was like, man, I feel this character. God, I hate
Yeah.
Omni Man. That one episode where you just see Omni Man just like completely lost, completely distraught, and just almost giving up by when he's by a black hole. I was like, oh
Hmm.
shit, you won me over, dude.
Oh yes, you're right. Yeah, I forgot about the black hole. You're
I
correct.
know. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I feel so bad for you now, even though, like, why do I do that? Anyways, so
Yeah, can we pause quickly? Can I just say what a freaking great writing the show is, and I guess the comic books. I'll be honest, I've not read the comics, so I can't speak on its style. But the fact that within two episodes they made you go from hating Omni Man, thinking he's going to be the show's ultimate villain, to sympathizing with them.
right, yeah,
That's amazing writing.
it's
That's
just,
yeah, it's peak. It's
and I think
it's
he's gonna have much more of a character growth and arc over the next few seasons that
especially
will
how they
really win
ended.
over more people.
Yeah.
But you really see how broken he was after what he did. Um, and getting onto Theraxa, seeing Oliver, or
Yeah,
Oliver is going to
Oliver.
be his half
The,
brother, Mark's
yeah.
half brother, and seeing Omni Man, just all of it. Those two were probably the best episodes of that first
Hmm.
half of season two.
Definitely. So
And we get the
one
Viltrumites, right,
thing.
in season four. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, no,
Episode
you're
four.
right. Yeah, episode 4 we get the Vulture rights, but I do love just how even though Invincible Mark despises what his dad did, he breaks down when he sees his dad and said, "I
Yeah,
need my father. I need a dad. I need somebody to help me because I don't want to be evil, bad, horrible of a person, but I have nobody because all I have to look up to now is a guy who killed thousands of people." And he
yeah.
breaks down when he
It's
sees his dad,
such a
and
human reaction.
it very is. Like
Yeah,
he hates his dad, but at the same time, he had 18 years living with them, loving his dad, respecting and wanting to be like
yeah,
his dad. And all of that just comes like crumbling down on him when he sees his dad again after, I'm guessing it's been now about a year since that whole destruction from season 1. So give or take a year or so, when he finally sees his dad again, it was so traumatic to see and very well
yeah,
done. um what did you think about, I know you mentioned the Vultrumites in episode 4. So the Vultrumites come to Thraxis, the planet, and
yeah.
basically tries to lay waste on all of the alien species there because they want to take down Nolan. What did you think about the whole Nolan Invincible versus the Ultramite fight?
Some really important things on that one. You get to
Hmm.
see just how strong Nolan actually is.
Yes,
And you
yes. He
also
was
see
definitely
that in
holding back.
season one, he was definitely holding back on Mark.
Yes,
He was
yes.
not going all out. And that was really fun to see. Nolan is super strong. Oh my God. Uh, and to get into something a little bit more specific, with the Viltrumites coming and laying waste to Theraxa, and Mark and Nolan fighting, Nolan actually tells him, "Why are you holding back?" Like, he's like, "I know you're strong. I know you're way stronger, Mark. These people are going to kill you if you don't go into it. They're going to kill you,
Which
which
is, I think,
inevitably
the
leads to their loss." Yeah,
and I think that's the underlying motif of his character in this season is control.
control, right?
And that's the one thing. Fast forward to episode 8, the finale. That's one thing he kept repeating all through the episode. I thought you were stronger. He was talking to himself, saying, "I thought you could control
Yep.
yourself because of what happens." But continuing on with episode 4 about him and Nolan telling him to just let loose, be yourself. What did you think about Mark's internal debate and internal, uh, I guess, issue when he was talking to Nolan, and Nolan was telling him, "Yeah, you gotta be a Viltrumite if you want to win against Viltrumites." What do you think about all that?
Yeah, I mean, he's human, right? And he's a
Yeah,
kid. So he
good point.
doesn't want to kill anyone when Nolan has been through this multiple times.
Hmm.
So I
It's sad
definitely
to see.
understand. Yeah.
Before we get into the later half of the season, season 5 to 8, I mentioned something that we put a pin in. Your love for Amber. Let's go ahead and explain that. Let me. Why is it that you don't like Amber?
Okay, so whenever we cut back to Amber's story, it's so boring and it's so slow. I get it, she's human and there's an inherent non superpower aspect to whatever story she's part of. But I've just found her development and just that entire thing. It's not that I hate her or the character Amber. I just don't like the way the story is with her. Without her, the story is better. So that's why I don't like the character.
So the reason why I differ, and I agree. I know you and I we talked about this a few times. Definitely, we think Adam, Eve, and Omni Man are better together ultimately. Uh,
Omni-Man?
I
That's so
apologize,
awkward.
Mark. No, no,
Ugh.
no, Mark.
I'm
Invincible.
so sorry, Mark. Your dad is
Your
taking
dad
Adam
is that
girls.
much of a dick. No. No, no, I apologize. No, Adam Eve and Mark Grayson. Definitely, I agree. Those two are probably better paired together. But the reason why I like Amber, I feel like Amber, as alongside with his mom Debbie, is kind of his it's his drag to humanity. It's his push to keep being a human and
So
keep
this
having a
is
human.
controversial, and I don't know if
Mhm.
you know this. Atom Eve is human.
You are right, but she's powered. But she's powered. I'm talking about someone who doesn't have any power, someone who's just a base human without any abilities or any heroics or like any, she's an everyday human. She goes to
Yeah.
school, she has a relationship, has a drama, or has her problems. So it kind of it's a pull to Mark, and that's why I appreciate the character of Amber. It kind of humanizes Mark further, and it kind of brings him down to earth when he needs to be down. When he needs that drag, needs that push.
Hmm.
I think without Amber and without his mom, he would probably have gone definitely to Nolan's side. And one thing we also know from episode 8 is there is some timelines, or not timelines, but some multiverses that Debbie and Mark teams up with Nolan to destroy Earth. And I think they have not said anything about this yet. I think Amber is actually the reason why Mark does not turn bad. I don't think it's Debbie. Debbie is definitely a push to it, his mom, but I think Amber is a big reason why he doesn't go bad because he has a love of humanity.
I can't agree with that just because I'm not seeing any evidence of that. But hey, that's fine.
No,
Uh,
yeah, that's just my 2 cents. I could definitely be reading into something because I like the character and I just love Zazie Beetz, so I might just
yeah.
be biased as
Now,
hell. But
there was something that we I want to touch on real quick. So Alan the alien, he
oh gosh,
gets
yes,
bodied by the Viltrumites, right? And
yes.
he supposedly dies. So let's move on to the part two of season two.
Well, yeah. Moving into part two of season two, you're talking about Alan the alien.
Hmm.
Where did he end up going to? Where did he end up joining before he fought the Viltrumites?
He was already part of the coalition of
But we didn't know
planetary
who they.
whatever.
Yeah, we didn't know who they were. We were finally showed who they are this
Right,
season.
right, yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to go
Um,
over the big reveal on that?
yeah, so with Alan the Alien, we see that he is powerful, but not as powerful as a Viltrumite. And these two Viltrumites come, almost kill him, and he is in a chamber recovering. And we see the leader of the planetary coalition of whatever take him off life support. So we think, oh no, he's a bad guy. And he's actually not. He's basically Saiyan, if anyone has watched Dragon Ball. So when he gets almost to death and then recovers from it, he becomes stronger. And that's Alan. And it seems like this old man knows that.
Hmm.
We also realize that this old man is a Viltrumite. And that part is really interesting because it shows that there are slowly popping out more and more Viltrumites who are against the Empire.
In this
So,
correlation of planets, the whole group is basically a sanctuary for those who have been attacked by the Viltrumites and escaped. And their
mhm.
ultimate goal is to take down the Viltrumite Empire. So the fact that there's a Viltrumite leading that sect or that group is definitely interesting because that would definitely tie into what Mark and Omni Man is doing. So I'm definitely interested to see how that's going to pay off.
I wonder if they know that though, the coalition, that he's a Viltrumite. My money
I
is
don't
on
think,
probably
yeah,
not.
I think the only
Yeah,
one who knows that is Alien right now, or Alan
Alan.
Alien.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's the only one who
um,
knows so far.
there also seems to be a mole in that coalition, right? Like, how would the Viltrumites
Yeah,
have known of Alan?
where Alan was, yeah,
Yeah.
because they knew exactly where Alan was and
Yep.
how to take him down, and definitely, yeah, I definitely want to see more of them. That's one thing I didn't like is I feel like they weren't really shown much in the later half. They were shown primarily like episode 3 and 4, if I'm not mistaken, but
Hmm.
they really weren't mentioned or seen at all episode 5 onwards. But I think that's going to be build a big build payoff in season 3. So definitely, but the later half, what did you think?
Okay, so later half. I think each one of those episodes is probably a banger. Uh,
Yeah.
with the whole Mars, the squids coming. That episode is really good because of
Hmm.
what happens on Earth. We see Duplicate getting killed. We see Rex almost getting killed, and we see I'm forgetting the last person. I'm forgetting her name.
She just joined the
Anyway,
team this
yeah,
season.
she's
Yeah,
joined the team. So yeah, we see a lot of these characters that we've grown with getting totally decimated on Earth, and I think this is a big turning point for Rex. It seems like he's
yes.
now a lot more focused.
Well, so what happened is the team had to split. Some went to Mars, led by what's his name?
Immortal
Immortal.
Abraham
Yes,
Lincoln.
yes. Immortal takes over. I call him Wolverine. He's Wolverine. Come on.
I call him Abraham Lincoln.
You call him Abraham. I call him
Yeah.
Wolverine, but same thing. But so half the Guardians go to Mars or go to a ship leaving Mars that's has those like squid like tentacles that control people, and the other half, led by Rex, is on Earth protecting Earth. So they're split, and Rex, being Rex, unfortunately leads his group of people to a massacre. He's not a good leader, and this is something that I think they're going to be building upon, which it definitely shows that he's going to better himself and learn better because the amount of people he lost. So he lost with two or three people, was it? Rex.
Um,
Was it two heroes he lost?
uh, I'm not too sure. The big one is
Yeah.
Duplicate because we've
Yeah.
seen her since season one. Yeah. So
So yeah, Duplicate dies. He nearly dies. Rex is on life support at the end of the episode, which was a fantastic ending. Seeing the people on Mars nearly get decimated and the people on Earth getting decimated, and the whole fight scene on the ship was fantastic. I
yeah,
enjoyed
it
that
was.
thoroughly.
It was.
Um, what do you think about the whole Immortal and Kate storyline? Because that was slightly a big storyline as well in the background.
Yeah. It was actually a lot more intense than I was expecting.
Yeah.
So that was really good. And the character that they added that I really liked was Shapesmith, the Martian.
Oh yes.
Uh, Ben Schwartz is just hilarious.
He's funny
So I do hope we get to see more of him. Yeah, it's really funny.
because he's still part of the team, right? He didn't lead the team.
Seems like it.
Yeah. So I mean, all of that happened. I think episode 5 was that. So then episode
I think it
six,
was a merger, right? It was
what
five
was it?
and six in a sense. It kind of wraps
Yeah.
up at six.
Yes, it wraps from like the first like 10 minutes of 6, if I'm
Yeah.
mistaken. Yeah. So then episode 6, basically, Mark finally gets back to school after all of this nonsense. He finally goes back to
Yeah.
school, and I
Finally get to
know,
see Amber
yeah.
again.
But you do show that Amber and him are finally, like, their differences are finally on the forefront. So it leads into them breaking up later on. They're gonna have a break or a breakup, most likely in
Ah,
season
thank
3.
God, man. Finally, man.
But what did you think about? Because now Mark introduces Debbie to his half brother, and you have that being played on now as well,
Yeah,
right?
so I thought that was gonna be a bigger point. It really wasn't. It was kind of like, oh, okay, that's Mark's stepbrother. I'll kind of take care of him. Like it was resolved pretty quick, which I guess is just trying to get to the more fun part, which will be season three.
Yeah,
So it wrapped up really quick. What did you think of that?
I like it because I think that itself kind of brought Debbie back into reality. That was
Hmm.
the push she needed. She needed something to take care of, and she felt broken. So being able to take care of something kind of helped patch her up. Now we see her back in her. I think she's a real estate agent, so she's back at her job. She's selling homes again. So it seems like whatever, having a kid in the house or just having somebody to take, like, some kind of company is helping her out, which I liked. So I think that's what the whole point of the kid
Uh,
was. It's just kind of bring her back on Earth.
there's a guy in her real estate company who keeps trying to
Oh yeah.
make hints or moves onto Debbie, and I'm like, oh god, I hope Omni Man comes and sees this guy. That guy is
I don't know
toast.
why I don't like that guy. He hasn't done anything
Yeah,
bad, and I
I
just
just
don't
don't like
like.
him either.
I don't know
He's just
why. I have no reason to hate him. I just don't like him. But
yeah.
um, and
So
then we.
season. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, continue.
Yeah, episode 7. Shit starts getting
Yes,
real.
that's yeah,
Yes.
that's like I said, we're
So
still continuing. Mark is still now in college, and he's still dealing with this his on and off, or should I continue the relationship with Amber? And who attacks or who comes into their
right,
date?
so we get Anissa. Now she's again, AK and I are not big comic. We don't follow comics that much. However, Anissa is a very big character from the comics, and she's introduced, and they have a little bit of a fight. Man, she is
Was that?
powerful.
I wouldn't even call that a fight. That
Oh my
was
goodness, she was not holding back,
no,
and
no, that was fantastic.
to
Like
his
holy
credit,
shit.
Cecil was like, Mark, just say whatever you need to get out of the situation. You're not gonna win it. Mark just stood his ground. He's like, no, I'm just gonna tell you what I believe in, and I'm not turning
Because
against humanity.
yeah, because Anissa was telling him like, hey, I'm gonna we're gonna we want you to take over what your dad was doing, taking over Earth and conquering it. We want you to join us. And Mark was like, no, no, I'm never going to join you. And like you said, he was like, just do it. Just join. Just say we'll join you. Just get her away from us, and we'll game plan
Yeah,
right afterwards. And he unfortunately didn't listen to Cecil. Mark is a little
yeah.
headstrong and kept saying no, 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 and gets beaten to shit.
And I think that's a good addition to Cecil's character. He has no morality. He will
His
say and do
mind's
whatever he
yes,
needs to see the next day and
exactly.
win the war. He doesn't care about the battle. He only cares about the war.
His
So
mindset is I
yeah,
don't care how many people I lose as long as I win,
right. And
which
in
is
his defense, when he wins, humanity wins. So it,
but at what cost.
yes.
But yeah, so
So
I
he
definitely
has
like that
no
character.
morality, which
No,
again, I love the character. Every scene he's in, I love Cecil.
yeah. And then we have the compilation of what was going on with the whole Donald's character. So, like you mentioned earlier,
Mhm.
Donald is going through like a existential crisis because he finds out that he's half robotic, and there's a big revelation that this has happened almost 30 plus times. Cecil finally breaks and lets him know what's going on and said, no, Donald, you told me to not to let you know, to wipe your memories each time we bring you back because you realize that if you knew what was going on, you would probably leave the program. And
Mhm.
so that was a great reveal. The fact that
Yeah.
Cecil wasn't the one hiding the memories, it was Donald himself wanting to hide the memories.
What a
If you
company
ha-
man.
yeah, if you had that I guess if that happened to you, would you want to have your memories or would you want them erased?
Oh man.
Yeah,
I think if I felt strongly about something in life, then maybe, but I don't. So
you don't.
pretty sad, pretty sad.
Yeah. Um,
Um, that was a good culmination for Donald there.
yeah.
So should we
It
do the
hasn't gone
season finale?
anywhere. Yeah, so
Oh,
like the
sorry.
whole
Go ahead.
Donald thing hasn't gone anywhere yet, which I do think because William, Mark's friend, boyfriend, is going through the same thing because he was also reconstructed and we created. So Donald and that the boyfriend character are going through the same issue. So that's going to be probably a big build up for season three. But finale, what was your take on the finale?
Okay, Nielstrom, uh, Angstrom, right?
Angstrom,
Dude,
yes. Whew.
initially you're like, okay, this guy's only power is portals, which cool, pretty awesome ability. But the menace that he has over Debbie and Oliver, the way he's just treating them, and it's like, oh my god, you're just a horrible piece of shit.
Yeah, he breaks Debbie's arm. He punches her multiple times, and he throws
Yeah,
Oliver, the baby. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
he's just yeah. And when Debbie's like, you're the villain in this universe, he's just like, no, I'm not, and he's like beating her up. I'm like, what are
Yeah,
you thinking,
because
dog?
when we show his flashbacks and all that, it seems like he's just an everyday man. Like he's like a good person. He's whatever in all the other universes, but Invincible hunts him down and kills him. So
Yeah.
when Engstrom gets like the ability to just I guess have the memories of all of his past selves, so
Yeah,
all of his multiverses self. He just has one thought: kill Invincible and his family.
right.
And Angstrom starts throwing Mark Invincible through portals to other dimensions. And what was your take on all those dimensions or what those unique worlds that we saw? What were
Yeah.
some of your favorites?
Okay, cool. So um, the whole Spider-Man totally caught me off guard. I was like, wait, what? And I just loved it. And I love the way Spider-Man is introduced. He's like, oh, yeah, I saw the portal. You're probably from a different universe. He's like, he's totally nonchalant about it. He's like,
Yeah,
I've been there, done that kind of thing.
this has been going on a lot lately for me because it's a great it's great in the pop culture realm because you have like
Yeah,
the Spider Versus movie, you had the No Way Home movie that came out, and obviously the MCU is going all multiverse, so it's
right.
a great like diss, or not really a diss, but a great just, like reference to what's going on in the MCU and
Agree.
other projects.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot. Um, my favorite world might be the dinosaur world.
The talking dinosaurs.
Yeah, so Mark gets thrown into a portal where he falls into a land before time style like animation. Like you just have a bunch of like these dinosaurs who are debating to whether eat or to talk to Mark, and Mark's like, "What the? Where am I?" And I was just
I know, he was like, you're
it,
not eating me, if that's
and
what you're thinking.
I'm not sure if this was like a reference or callback to the Hobbit books and movie, but with the trolls or the goblin or the trolls, yeah, debating whether to eat the dwarfs or not. They're like, do we eat them? How do we cook them? Do we sit? Do we
Oh,
squash?
okay.
And so I'm not sure if that was just a callback or like an Easter egg to that. I felt very reminiscent of that, which I loved. Just one was talking about let's eat them. One was like let's talk to him. One was like what the hell do we do? Like, so I like that a lot, but I definitely enjoyed the dinosaur world, and I want to see more of that.
Yeah. So to culminate this entire fight with Angstrom, um, we see him get placed on this wasteland world,
Hmm.
and Angstrom visits him, and showing that Angstrom actually has powers because he's been through so many multiverses that he's been able to enhance himself.
Hmm.
According to Angstrom, fight a Viltrumite. But
Well,
I
he didn't
think we
really
all
say
know how
that. He
that
just,
goes.
yeah, he really didn't say fight at Viltrumite. He said, "I'm stronger. I'm a lot stronger than I was, or I'm a lot
Right,
stronger than
but
you think, or something."
I think he overestimated how strong
Oh,
he
100
was.
percent. He has a little bit of narcissism or egotistic attributes that definitely pull to a downfall.
Yeah,
Which also plays on the role on the quote and the title of the season. I thought you were stronger.
yeah,
Uh, so like you said, Angstrom pulls Mark into this decimated Earth planet, which is probably after the Viltrumites destroyed it. And Mark starts beating the shit out of him to the
yeah.
point where Mark kills Angstrom,
Very
and
reminiscent of the end of season one, the way Omni
where
Man is
Omni
beating
Man
him.
was beating up Mark.
Yeah, but in there, Omni Man is holding his punches, and here,
And here Mark does not.
Mark isn't. Yeah,
And Mark takes his. I think this is his first directly involved kill.
yeah,
Right? This is the
yeah,
first person he directly was involved in killing.
yeah. Because you can't say he killed all those people on the train because his father was using him as a blender.
Exactly. Yeah. So like this is his first person that he like his hands
Actually
were
killed. Yeah,
directly. Yeah. So he's now stranded on this other world, going crazy. And he, like I said earlier, he keeps repeating that line. I thought you were stronger, and it was a play
yeah,
on words.
yeah.
He was talking about Angstrom. I thought you were stronger. You could take my punches, and also to him, I thought
Himself.
you could
Yeah,
control your anger. Your
yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
Um, and how does he get rescued?
Okay, so it's a future version of the Guardians of the Globe.
Hmm.
So in here we see a robot, we see Atom Eve, and we see who was that guy? I think it was like Bulletproof or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not sure. It looks like Adam Eve
and
is now
Monster
leading
Girl.
the group, and
Right.
Monstergirl, yes.
Yeah. So it's
So one
four of
thing
them.
I'm not sure you noticed: who was controlling Robot in this scene?
Right. So again, this could be a misdirect, and I don't want
Hmm.
to fall into the name that they dropped. So yeah, Atom Eve does say Rex, but the
Hmm.
thing is, Robot has already taken Rex's DNA. What's to say he doesn't take his name in the future? So I don't want to fall too much into what that
Mm, I
actually
see what you
meant.
mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, so, anyways, that kind of resolved a little too quickly. I I would have actually been okay if they left Mark on that
For the
planet
whole
longer.
episode, and then like
Yeah.
episode season three premiere kind of opens up with them rescuing him.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I agree.
I think it
But
resolved
seeing
itself too quickly.
but seeing a 20 because the future Guardians comes and says it's been 20 years since you left Earth, since you
Hmm.
vanished from the 5 foot angstrom. Um, and in 20 years they finally created a technology to portal jump between dimensions and multiverses, which now why they finally found him, which was a decent enough explanation, though like you said
Yeah, it's all plausible with how smart Robot and all
these
of them
people
are.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah. But 20 years and you see an older Adam Eve who looks broken. She just looks done with everything, which is very sad because Adam Eve is a very depressing character.
Yeah.
Have you seen her TV special?
I actually did recently. Yeah.
That was super well done, I thought.
Yeah.
Uh, Very depressing what's going on with her and her family. So I definitely want to see more of her. I think she needs to be a secondary character in season three. I feel
Hmm.
like in this season she's kind of been thrown to the side a bit
I
for the
wonder
whole.
why. Could it be that because we had Amber and now we don't? Maybe.
Eh, I still like Amber. I will, yeah, but I see what you mean. Yeah, so they open a portal and they say we can't really tell you anything that happened to 20
Hmm.
years because we don't want to ruin the
Space time
timeline.
continuum. Yeah.
Space, yeah. But Adam, Future Eve, says one thing, saying that Mark, I've always loved you, and I wish I was able to tell you that in my world, and leaves it at that. So now
Yeah.
Mark knows that Adam likes her, so that's gonna definitely play into what you are wanting to see happen. Adam and Mark
It's not
together.
even that I want Adam Eve to be with Mark. It's just I didn't want us to keep spending time with a character
Yeah.
that wasn't going anywhere.
No, no, I understand. So,
So yeah, now
so
it
Mark arrives back in
ends.
his
Yeah.
timeline. Yeah.
So let's just jump to the end with Alan the alien being captured by Anissa and putting into the
Yes.
same jail confined as Omni Man. Uh, I actually like their back and forth a little bit. It's fun. I
Yeah,
hope
because
we
we
get to see a lot
know.
more of them.
Yeah, because we know Alan and Omni Man have a back and forth from like when he was part of the Guardians. It was mentioned when Mark first beats Alien. He's like, "Oh, what happened to the other guy?" Blah blah blah. So it kind of makes they know
Yeah,
each other. They have a history
they
behind
do.
each other.
Yeah,
So it's cool to see that those two most likely be planning to break out together, break out of prison, and that was Alien's goal. Alien got himself captured. He's a lot stronger. He's a lot bigger. He's a lot most likely going to be a lot more powerful. We really haven't
yeah,
seen this full of yeah.
yeah.
Um, but what did Mark reveal when they were having their back and forth?
Do you mean Omni Man?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah. So what did
No
Omni Man
worries.
reveal to Alien during the back and
Oh,
forth?
I know. When right at the end, you're just like, I miss my wife. I was like,
And he regrets killing and the betrayal. Like he regrets
yeah,
everything he did, which is a big 360 from the character, but it makes sense from what he's seen and what he's done. And I
yeah,
love the way they go because, as I said, beginning this video, I didn't think there was any way they could redeem Omni Man. I thought he was going to be the ultimate villain throughout the show, and the fact that he's already been redeemed, like he living on Earth this long, a little bit of humanity has grown within
rubbed
him,
off on him. Yeah.
rubbed off on him. So I love that. What was your final thoughts of the episode or of the season?
Okay, cool. So I really liked the episode, and I liked the episode before that. Actually, all of season two, part two, I did enjoy. But I still think season one was better.
Hmm.
Uh, season two was good, but there wasn't any overarching
Narrative.
narrative exactly. It wasn't really going anywhere. It
It,
felt at times, and that break really just spoiled a lot for me.
it
I did not like that break.
Yeah, so I agree with you. Like I said earlier, I think the season is a theater pop season altogether. If you watch it continuously with no breaks, though, there's a lot of plot lines that just still haven't gone anywhere. We mentioned the Martian shapeshifter; he really hasn't gone anywhere. Kate, we really don't know what her end game plan is because we do show that Kate is still alive.
Yeah,
Duplicate. She actually had one duplicate or one Kate left far away that's living her own
right.
life.
We
So,
all thought her numbering started with one, but like
but
a
it's
typical
zero.
programmer, it started with zero.
So we really didn't see why or what her game plan is going to be, or her boyfriend,
Abraham Lincoln.
uh, Abraham Wolverine. um, we didn't really get to see Rex as a leader because Rex takes control of the leadership of the Guardians again. We haven't really seen how he's going to lead in this season, in this episode. Anissa really didn't do much after that amazing last episode. We didn't get to see much of her.
Season three is gonna be wild.
It is, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like they have all these plots, that's these threads that really haven't had a conclusion just yet.
Hmm.
Donald and Rick, William's boyfriend, who's gone through the whole reconstruction, they really haven't had their moment. Or like, what's the whole point of their character line still? With the whole DA Sinclair, we know he's still alive, working with Cecil, and the Molotrans. They were my favorite villains of the first season, and the first half of season two, and they didn't make appearance in the later half. Like, where's the Molotrans at? So overall, great episode. It just did not feel like finale. It just did not
Yeah.
tie up all the loose ends I was wanting it to tie up, and they didn't have to tie everything up. They could have just mentioned things briefly. They literally wasted, and it was a funny waste of time. It was about 7 minutes on two explorers exploring an ancient Egyptian temple.
That was so dumb.
Yeah, it was funny. I but
And the mommy comes up and is like, "Wait, you're both women?"
it's like he's like, I can only take control of a man, a male body, and I was like, okay, but who are you? And then the tomb collapses when Mark is flying past.
Mark
So
flying
like,
past.
instead of, and it was a funny moment, but instead of that 7 minute scene, they could have added they could have brought Donald in, or they could have
Yeah,
actually had the breakup between Amber and Mark, or they could, they, I don't know,
so dumb.
yeah, funny. I love that scene. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
the scene was amazingly just out of nowhere, funny, stupid, but didn't go anywhere.
Yep. Agreed.
But yeah, ultimately, I'm very excited to see what's going on with the whole Vulture War, with the whole Guardians of the Globe, how they're going to deal with Anessa. I want to see how Rex ends up leading now that he had his Jesus moment come back to life. See how he's going to lead the troop. Is he going to mature up? Is he going to go back to his old ways? Definitely want to see more of Oliver. See if his storyline or what he's going to end up doing because he ages faster. They
He
keep saying
does.
that,
Yeah.
so I want to see if he's going to be aged up now, like as a 7, 8 year old, 10 year old in season three.
Hmm.
And obviously, I want to see the breakout of Nolan and Alien. So those
Hmm.
are the 3 or 4 big things I want to see happen in season three. What are some things you're looking forward to?
So for me, definitely Oliver growing up. I want to see how he's gonna have, I think, a better mentor in Mark,
Yeah.
and I want to see how, as you mentioned, Nolan and Alan breaking out. I think their chemistry is going to be really fun. So I can't wait for that. I hope they take time, like one whole episode of them just going planet to planet, just being them in a sense. I think that'll be fun.
Just boring out, saving planet to planet.
Yeah, right. And lastly, I just want to see more of Mark starting to take the next progression in his powers.
Yes. I agreed. 100% agreed. One thing I'll say before I lead it, before we, I guess, end here or end our final thoughts. J.K. Simmons. So I've always liked him as an actor. He's always been a very strong, very good actor. But holy shit, he's a fantastic voice actor, which was fantastic. Him voicing Omni Man the last two seasons have been some of the best voice acting I've heard in a long time. This guy needs to be booked more as a voice actor.
Yeah,
He
he's really
is
good.
powerful. He owns the screen every time he's on screen.
Yeah,
So he's
definitely good.
definitely just like season one. He's my standout of season two. What about you? Who was your standout character of season two?
um, there were a lot of really good characters, but I really liked Shapesmith. I thought he was really funny, and ultimately, I'm sorry. Ultimately, Sterling K. Brown as Angstrom Levi. I think he stole the scene
Yes,
every time he was there.
yes, I agreed. Agreed. I wish he had more scenes, and I wish he had
Yeah.
more. But I agree 100%. He was definitely a standout as well. But did you have any last thoughts before we
Nope.
close it out here?
Yep. I think we're good. Definitely go watch it. I can't wait for
Definitely.
season three.
Yeah, season three can't come soon enough. Amazon, if you're listening, there's a 1 out of 1 billion chance that you are listening to this. Don't do a break. Don't do a break. Just release them weekly. We do not need a 3 month break.
But yeah,
Just
agreed.
don't be dumb.
It spoiled it.
Exactly. But yeah, thank you guys for checking us out. We are the Popcorn Perspective. We are planning to do a few more videos here in the next couple of weeks. Bad Batch finale is coming up here soon, the next 3 weeks. So I'll be going over that. We got what show is it you want to talk about next? You mentioned earlier. That you mentioned a show earlier that you want to talk about. I know you want to talk about the movie we just watched. So that's
Oh
coming up
yeah,
soon.
the best
Yeah,
movie that
right.
we ever watched. Yeah,
Yeah,
Madam
that's
Web.
yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to
So
do
we'll,
that.
we'll we'll do a small quick review on Madam Web. Don't watch it. That's the only thing I'm gonna say about that. And we got a couple of
Or
other stuff coming up,
make a drinking game out of it, which we did,
which is why we don't remember a lot of it.
and it was still really bad.
Yeah, drinking did not help it out, but
No, it did
yeah,
not.
yeah. Subscribe, like, comment if you comment what you thought about the season. Let us know what you liked. If you thought the season was fun, if you didn't mind the break. Let us know if you watch Mountain Bread. If and subscribe, click the bell if you want to hear more of what we got to say about other shows, movies, and projects down the road. But thanks for checking us out.
All right, guys, peace.